Hello and welcome to another video from Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey and today we are going to be making 4 pairs of earrings from January's Bargain Bead Box from 2022. And it will be some simple from I would say is beginner level upwards to some that are a little bit more complicated, but very nice, very very easy to follow along if you have the parts and you have the bead box and you're looking for inspiration. So if you'd like to see how I made these 4 pairs of earrings, stay tuned. All right, so you are coming from all the finished products, the finished pairs of earrings. So we're going to start with this one. For each pair, I'm going to have one earring that is completed, and then I'm going to make the second earring with all the components to it. I will show you the tools that I will be using. I have 2 pairs of chain nose pliers. I use these so that I can manipulate the metal pieces with both hands. And I have a pair of round nose pliers that I use mostly to make my loops with. And I have a pair of fine point cutting pliers. And just about everything in all of these earrings came from the January 2022 Bargain Bead Box, except for a few things. Of course, I had to use my own pins, eye pins, and ball end pins, and my own ear wires as well. And the only beads that I used of my own are these. They're check seed beads, size 6/0. So they're the larger seed beads. But I felt like this kind of color matched really well, and they're in a couple of these different earrings that I've made. So we're going to start by making this middle component and then attach the pieces. So it begins with the peach rondelle, then the larger seed bead there at the end, then the larger bead cap, and then larger seed bead, all right, so that is the same order as the other earring. So now here is how I create my loops. I use my round nose pliers, and I know there are several different ways to create loops, but this is the way that works for me. So right from the very top, I take it and I bend it. I try to make sure that I'm going as much as I can as the same direction at the loop on the bottom, and then I bend it back with my fingers. And when you take that off, it's got the beginnings of, once the beads go back down in place, it's got the beginnings of a pretty nice loop. Then I take the cutters and I go up into the loop. I usually try to hold on to that end piece because if you don't, it will go flying. And then I take my round nose pliers and then I manipulate it until it's in the shape that I want, which usually doesn't take much at all once I've bent it around. All right, so then we have the middle component. Okay, and then it's just a matter of attaching the other pieces. So I'm gonna get my chain nose pliers and I'm going to get one part of that jump ring, and I am connecting the center piece with the bottom piece first. I get both of these chain nose pliers and close that up. All right, so then I see the direction that it is hanging in. For these ear wire type earrings, when you have the dangle, you want to make sure that it is hanging in the correct direction, meaning if it's going into your ear this way, you want the pieces that only have one side to be facing the correct direction. Now, obviously, when you're wearing, it's going to be moving around, but you want the still direction to be facing the correct way. So I'm going to have this bottom piece connected, and I see that it is facing this way right here. So I want the earring to be facing that direction. So I'm going to connect it like that, and then close the jump ring. Just like that. Sorry about that. Here we go. All right, you want to close that jump ring, just like that. So now we have our first pair of earrings. All right, so here is pair number 2. So this is the pair that we are now making. Here are all the parts to make the other pair. And once again, we are using the check seed beads that did not come in the January bead box. Most of the rest of the components came in the bead box except for the findings. All the visual pieces did come in there. So we're going to make this centerpiece. Got the large seed bead, spacer bead, large bead, spacer, and large seed bead. All right, and once again, I'm going to be making my loop, and I try to make sure that the way that I bend it is the way that the loop at the bottom is facing. So bend it all the way back around. All right, so you have the makings of a nice loop. I go up into the loop, hang on to the extra piece, cut it off, and then I get my round nose pliers and manipulate it until it's the way that I want it. All right, let me make this one bend back a little bit. Okay, all right. So there we have our center component. So now it's genuinely just a matter of connecting the 3 pieces. So I'm going to get my jump ring. Got a hair on that one. And I'm going to connect the bottom to the bottom part. Needed to get my pliers in a better position. All right. And there we go. So we've got the bottom part on connected. Get the middle piece. And I could already tell that I'm going to have to open that jump ring a little bit more, because I've worked with this piece a few times now, and you have to open the jump rings a little bit. All right, so get that on there. Close that jump ring. Okay. So there we go. This thing is two-sided, so it doesn't really matter which way that's facing. But when you put the top on, you want to make sure it's facing this way so that the bottom part is hanging correctly. So now, I'm going to open the bottom of the ear wire. And because I want it to face this way when it's hanging, I'm going to make it go in through there. And then bend that back. There we go. Make sure that it's straight, which it is. I just need to bend this one part back a little bit. There we go. All right. And there is pair number 2. All right, so here is pair number 3. Right now it's just one. So this is the one we're going to be making. And we're going to start with our eye pin, and we're going to make this center component. So we're going to have red bead, spacer, longer crystal, spacer, and then the red bead. All right. So now, creating another loop. A little bit less wire, and it's always a little bit trickier to manipulate it when you don't quite have as much wire. All right, so the beginning of a nice loop there. Go up into the loop just a little bit. All right. Whoa. Okay, make sure all the beads are pushed to the bottom. Get my round nose pliers, and I'm going to manipulate it until it looks like I want it to, which there is the center piece. Okay, so now I'm going to take my jump ring, and I'm going to put the center component with the bottom component, and I need to put my pliers in a different spot. And then close that jump ring. There we go. So we have the dangle at the bottom. And same as before, where you just kind of want to make sure it's facing the correct way. I'm gonna open that ear wire. And you want it to hang this way. So you're gonna want it to go on like that. And then you take your round nose pliers and just put it back. That's why I try to avoid doing that, because it's so easy to accidentally make it go too far. All right, and there we go. And that is pair number 3. There we go. All right, so here is pair number 4. And this is the most complicated pair. And I know it might look like it would weigh a lot and be, you know, kind of difficult on the ears. But it's not. I have have put them on myself, and several of these beads, they're very, very light. So this bead here in the center is the heaviest one, and all together, it really isn't that heavy. I was inspired for this one to match the necklace that I made out of the Bargain Bead Box in the last video. And I'll kind of show you those two together at the end. But I mean, these could be worn with just any kind of red outfit, you know, on their own. You don't have to necessarily wear them with the necklace. So I really like these components that came in the Bargain Bead Box. So here we go. I'm going to make each one of these pieces individually first, and then start connecting it all. The 2 pieces of chain that I have right here also came in the Bargain Bead Box, but they're 5 links. 5 links of that chain that I used for this part of it right here. All right. So each one of these, sometimes the head pins come a little wonky, just kind of make them as straight as you can. All right, we're gonna start here on the outside. So we've got clear rondelle, red rondelle, clear. All right. So I'm going to make my loop. And the good thing about all the loops in here is because it's a regular head pin at the bottom, the ball pin, it doesn't have to face, the loops don't have to face any specific way. So that makes it a lot easier. Bend it back a little bit. And that'll help with manipulating it. All right. There we go. So that's the first one. Go ahead and make the other one that matches it. A little wonky, straighten it out best you can. Small, rondelle, bigger one, small one. Snip it up in the loop a little bit, and then bring it around. And there we go. So we've got the two end ones. We'll do the other two middle ones before we do the center one. All right, straighten out a little bit. Okay, so we've got clear, tiny one, peachy one, then the long crystal, and then peach, and top one. Bend it back, bend it over. It's got the makings of a nice loop up into the loop, and there we go. Manipulate it. Till you get it the way you want it. There you go. So there's that one. All right, other head pin. Making the identical one. So we have clear, peach, clear, peach, long crystal, peach, clear. All right. So now, bend it back, bend it over, get up in the loop, and then bring it back around. All right, there we go. We have the 4 outer pieces. Now we're going to create this center one. So red, smaller red, spacer, big red. That sounds funny, big red. spacer, and then we're gonna have the smaller red. So now we're gonna create the loop on the top of this. Then go in there and manipulate it. That's leaning a little bit too forward for me, so I'm going to go back a little bit. That piece at the top of that bead needs to go. It's throwing me off. Getting my chain nose pliers there to kind of straighten it up. It got a little wonky because I was trying to get the edge of that bead off, but there it goes. Now it is straight. All right, so we have all of the components made. Now we're attaching everything together. So each one of these is attached to the bottom with a jump ring. We're going to start on one side and work our way across. All right, the next jump ring. Connect that one and tighten it. All right, next jump ring. Right in the middle, and the large one. All right. Next jump ring. The other side. And the last jump ring for this part. Okay, so the 5 pieces that are hanging across the bottom now match. So now we're going to get the next jump ring for the chain. So I'm going to go to one end of the chain and connect that to one of the top pieces up here. All right, get the other jump ring for the other piece of chain. Make sure I get it on the end link. There we go. Okay. And connect it to the other side. All right, so got that one closed. So now, when you get your last jump ring, you're going to connect both of the ends of chain. It's a little wonky when it's all apart like that. I'm going to try to get this on camera because it's wonky for me too. So get that piece of chain. That piece of chain. All right. All right. So you want your earring to face that way, when you wear it, because it is only one way. So if I do this, it's going to go up like this. So I want it to go this way, so it'll go up like that. So here we go. All right. There we go. All right, so there is our last pair of earrings. All right, so I'm going to get them over where I can display all of them, and we'll be right back. All right, so before I show you all 4 pairs, I wanted to show you very quickly the necklace that was kind of the inspiration for these earrings. So of course these are the last ones that we just made, and I kind of took the same method that I used for this multi-strand necklace, also from the Bargain Bead Box. So these pair quite well, but again, you can also wear these on their own, you know, just with any kind of red shirt. So there you go. All right, so here are the 4 pairs of earrings that we made. And, you know, some of them were a little bit easier, you know, a little on the beginner side, upwards to the little bit more complex. But it was a lot of fun. And just about everything came from January 2022's Bargain Bead Box. Like we said, except for a couple of the seed beads and the findings. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create these. Hope it gave you a little inspiration. And if you enjoyed it, or you enjoy videos like these, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and give me a like, give me a comment. Let me know what you like to see or what you thought about this video. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.